Tzu Chi volunteers once again returned to Tonga, Philippines. This time, volunteers brought donations for each family affected by Typhoon Haiyan. In the end, 1,752 families. Receiving the love from across the globe, each recipient's heart is warmed and filled with gratitude.
Philippines, USA.
Tonga Mayor is meeting Tzu Chi volunteers from various countries who have come to the Philippines once again, this time bringing monetary donations for Typhoon Haiyan survivors in her town. Depending on the number of family members, each household can receive 8,000 to 15,000 pesos. Recipients already know what to do with their money.
I am going to repair my home. It was crushed by 3 coconut trees. I am homeless now and live with my brother.
I'm left with nothing. I live somewhere else now. Coconut trees crashed into my home and broke the beam in half. It will need repair.
Besides cash, each envelope also contains a letter for the survivors, filled with blessings of all Tzu Chi members around the world.
This love has taken root inside our heart. You have been a great help. I am very grateful.
I cry as I read this letter because we have been selected by Tzu Chi. Volunteers are here to help us who endured hardships.
This distribution was organized and led by senior volunteer Yang Guanxin, who has carried out international relief missions for decades. He says the destruction he witnessed this time is unprecedented.
In all of my years working in disaster relief, I've never witnessed a disaster of such magnitude. So my heart truly aches for these people. Mr. Zheng Yan instructed us to come and alleviate the survivors' suffering.
Though scarred by one of the worst natural disasters, Tonga's residents find comfort in a group of foreigners from far away. With newfound courage, they bravely take the steps towards recovery.
Tzu Chi's prefabricated shelters were created with disaster relief in mind, centering on ease of construction, transportation, and usage. To assist Typhoon Haiyan rebuilding efforts, the latest generation of temporary shelters has been delivered to the hard-hit areas of the Philippines. At Tonga Elementary School, a team of Taiwanese Tzu Chi volunteers will build a total of 9 classrooms, which 2 have already been completed, giving students a chance to resume learning.
We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a better day, so let's start giving.
In the Philippines, some students are still able to attend music class at Tonga Elementary School, as Typhoon Haiyan did not destroy that building. However, there are a few usable classrooms, as the wind and rain destroyed 28 out of the 36 classrooms at the school.
Naglilinis sa bahay.
Happy ba kayo na meron na makakaroon ng bagong classroom kayo?
Papa!
You must still have space here.
Yes, at the center, at the center.
The crew who helped construct classrooms with the 921 Project Hope in Taiwan have arrived at Tonga. The team has to first decide the placement of the classrooms.
Throughout our research and development, we kept in mind Mr. Zheng Yan's initial reminder to us. We are not only providing for survivors, it has to be suitable for ourselves as well.
Initially, this batch of prefabricated classrooms was designated for Zamboanga in the Philippines. Thus, Anton Lim, a local Tzu Chi volunteer, came to Taiwan to familiarize himself with the construction details. Volunteers put much thought into its packaging. The instruction tags are written in both Chinese and English. Details such as the number of screws are not overlooked. Seeing everyone's dedication, Anton Lim is deeply moved.
We want to make sure that when we open up the eye, we will not get hurt. I mean, there's just too much. There's just too much love that being put into each classroom. Thank everyone for their effort.
From research and design to a packet of screws, Tzu Chi's humanitarianism radiates in every corner of the prefabricated shelters. As part their continued assistance to Typhoon Haiyan survivors, Tzu Chi volunteers prepared instant rice for Cash for Work participants so that they can have the strength to carry on their cleanup efforts. Following the devastation of Typhoon Kansana in 2009, Tzu Chi volunteers in the Philippines implemented Cash for Work programs to help local residents get back on their feet. Today, years later, many of the former recipients have joined Tzu Chi's ranks in helping out those who were affected by the recent disaster.
Over the past 2 weeks, Evangeline, a Tzu Chi volunteer from Marikina, has been here in Tacloban to help disaster survivors with their recovery work. As a former typhoon survivor, she says it is her calling to help those in greater need.
I have seen how Master Zheng Yan shows her love to us Filipinos. Thank you, Master, for tending to all the residents and volunteers in the Philippines.
This is Evangeline's first time taking part in relief work as a Tzu Chi volunteer. Therefore, she cherishes this opportunity the most and does her best to help those in need.
As a Tzu Chi commissioner, I know that it is my responsibility to help Master Zheng Yan carry out Tzu Chi missions.
The disaster in Tacloban reminds Marikina volunteers of Typhoon Kansana in 2009. Having personally experienced the trauma that the disaster survivors are feeling, this group of volunteers can better empathize with the typhoon survivors.
I told the Tacloban residents that giving is more blessed than receiving, so I encouraged them to save spare change on a daily basis to help the less fortunate. They said, don't forget to count them in when Tzu Chi holds a volunteer training event.
Since the beginning of Tzu Chi's relief work in Tacloban, over 30 Marikina volunteers have been stationed here in the coordination center. Despite their heavy workload, they did not complain but dedicated their utmost efforts to help the needy.
I feel like I'm helping my fellow people, so it is fine to get a little busy.
From aid recipients to givers, volunteers from Marikina now feel immeasurable happiness from helping those in greater need. Meanwhile, kitchen volunteers are busy preparing instant rice for Cash for Work participants. Over 100 boxes of instant rice are ready to be delivered to each Cash for Work site. Participants who do not have their own lunch boxes receive waterproof bags prepared by Tzu Chi. Upon receiving Tzu Chi's hot meals, the residents are all in smiles.
I'm very happy to have something to eat. Besides, the food you provided us is easy to take away. I will bring this bag of rice back home and share it with my family.
Rice is the staple food of the Filipinos. Therefore, Tzu Chi's instant rice has been well received by these Cash for Work participants.
Thank you very much for the hot meal. It's a great help.
It's very convenient. I don't have to prepare lunches myself. I'm very satisfied.
To make delivery of the meals go smoothly, Tzu Chi volunteers planned out beforehand the most convenient route for distribution.
I want to know what is the easiest and fastest route to deliver these meals.
Thanks to kitchen volunteers' hard work, residents of Tacloban City have been able to enjoy hot meals over the past few days, as well as the Tzu Chi volunteers' warmth and love.
Thanks to the Cash for Work program, the streets of Tacloban are seeing drastic improvements each day. Tzu Chi volunteers also aim to continue implementing the program in more districts as to speed up recovery efforts in the affected areas.
Taos puso po kaming nagpapasalamat sa tulong at suporta na ibinigay ninyo sa mga Taclobanon. Kayo ang nagbigay ng lakas at pag-asa para makabangon ang Tacloban.
After 1 week of participating in the Cash for Work program, residents near the Haiyan National High School expressed their gratitude to the volunteers through this poster.
We can sense their happiness and we are moved by it. It means that our sincerity and loving care has found their way into their hearts.
Everything will be having better and you will okay, everybody will be happy.
We never know what we will come across at each destination, so we always have to be prepared. We are here to contribute a little of our strength for the disaster survivors in the Philippines.
3 days into the Cash for Work program at the Sacred Heart School, local residents have already forged a deep friendship with the volunteers.
Very good, very good. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Very good.
And the two words "tsuji" has become a cheer for local residents, even for those who don't know how to speak Chinese.
It felt like the end of the world. We had no one to turn to, no food, and no job. Only when you arrived did we feel that there is still hope.
Your support, then we can go beyond the limitation and we can go really over and we can really make the miracle happen in the world.
The volunteers' efforts have brought about new beginnings to Tacloban as residents see hope for the future.
Now, nearly 1 month has passed. Let's take a look at how the disaster survivors work in cooperation with the Tzu Chi Foundation to rebuild their lives and communities. Good morning, Tacloban. What a wonderful and vibrant day. As the gasoline station reopens, numerous local residents are seen here lining up to refill their tanks. Logistics is an indicator of economic activities. As truck drivers are lining up at the gasoline station, it means local businesses have resumed their operation. Here at a local market, one can also find the vitality of Tacloban City.
Here we are at the traditional market near Late Progressive High School. It's around 7 a.m. in the morning. As you can see, the street is bustling with crowds and traffic jams. Street vendors have already resumed their businesses, selling a variety of goods and necessities. This shows life is slowly returning back to normal.
Now many customers will buy my goods. Those who join Tzu Chi's Cash for Work program will come to my store and buy some necessities.
My business is quite good. Residents outside Tacloban City also come and buy my oil lamps. Many of them are those joining Tzu Chi's Cash for Work program. They need lights in their homes.
My earnings are good. Many residents have improved in their financial situations thanks to Tzu Chi's assistance. Because of Tzu Chi, countless residents are slowly getting back on their feet.
Thanks to Taiwan's Tzu Chi Foundation, following Typhoon Haiyan, volunteers from around the globe found their way into the worst-hit areas. They carried out the Cash for Work program to improve the lives of local residents, which also stimulated the local economy.
Tzu Chi has given us a huge push. Although our house is gone, we can still get back on our feet because Tzu Chi gave us wages for cleaning up our own community. They asked us not to gamble, drink, or smoke. I listened to their advice. Check this out, Tzu Chi gave me 500 Philippine pesos and I used the money all to buy food for my family.
Thank you. Thank you.
For residents of Tacloban, their key to recovery is Tzu Chi.
Tzu Chi volunteers told me not to get angry. I remember that I used the $500 to buy food to feed my kids, as well as some repair materials for the roof and a lot of nails. Thank you, Tzu Chi. I will keep on smiling.
Give your smile.
Regardless of the havoc wreaked by the merciless disaster, with their optimum and positive outlook on life, the Filipinos will move on and be able to face all future challenges. The implementation of Tzu Chi's Cash for Work program in Tacloban since November 20th not only compensated residents for their efforts, but also helped revive the city's economy. As the cleanup effort nears its final phase of completion, the love of Tzu Chi volunteers has inspired many to donate a little of their love each day, while others promise to join the volunteers' ranks in the future.
This is the fourth and final day of the Cash for Work program here at the Sacred Heart School. And while residents don't speak a word of Chinese, they still happily sing along to the song to express their gratitude to the volunteers.
This letter is to express our thanks. Although we don't have the opportunity to meet Master Zhen Yan, we still want to convey our thanks through this letter.
We are very happy to have met Tzu Ji. Tzu Ji gave Tacloban residents an opportunity to stand tall again. This t-shirt is just a small token of our appreciation to thank you for implementing the Cash for Work program here.
Thank you very much.
The circle of love doesn't just end there. During the 4 days after completing the day's work, local residents would donate their spare change into the bamboo coin bank, while others even signed up to become volunteers.
I want to be a volunteer, not only me, many others as well.
Although Tzu Ji volunteers won't be here forever, residents here will continue to help and support one another.
As Tzu Ji's Cash for Work program is nearing its final phase of completion, the interaction between Tzu Ji volunteers and residents have inspired compassion and unity within communities.
Instead of gambling our days away and waiting for other people to bring us food, taking part in the Cash for Work program motivates us to make our communities a better place.
This cheer motivates hearts and marks the first step out of despair. The once debris-cluttered streets and alleys now appear different since Tzu Ji's Cash for Work program. Anguish and despair, which once lingered the air, are now fading. The road home is no longer estranged. Instead, there is hope for a new beginning.
I want to spread the seeds of Tzu Ji. Once we are done with our clean-up work, I will coordinate with the barangay chairman to get everyone together and help the survivors in the other affected barangays.
NGO representatives from the United States also showed support for Tzu Ji's program by offering saws and other electrical equipment to help speed up recovery efforts.
You make here is a very good example of which we're going to use now with the local government to do the same thing. So we'll Cash for Work, they clean their own houses, they bring it out to the streets, we try and recycle, they take what they need.
I'm actually very happy that Tzu Ji is here. I was once a Tzu Ji myself, and Tzu Ji has always been very close to my heart. And to see everyone here is actually very touching. I don't feel so alone now.
Reconnecting with Tzu Ji once again, Ling knows well that this path to recovery will not be a lonely one.